Hi, I'm Steve Sample with Bama Talk. Don't miss a single episode of Bama Talk Show, available now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, April the 28th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. If you didn't get a chance to look at the highs yesterday, there's a look at the temperatures. Let's see, that was about 5 p.m., and you can see that across the vast fruited plain of the U.S., it was rather a warm day across the country with plenty of 60s and 70s. The Jasper Skycam this morning showing that the clouds are in here, and they expect to be in for much of today. But at Trussville, you can see that some spots are getting some showers. As a matter of fact, there's a quick look at radar, and you can see that we do have a few showers moving through central Alabama, especially from Birmingham up towards Fort Payne. Additional showers back in Mississippi will be coming our way later today. The unsettled weather pattern shows a surface low in the Ohio River Valley with a cold front that stretches down into north-central Mississippi. We expect that front to move on through the area later this evening and into the early morning hours of Monday. In the upper atmosphere, we have a closed low over Illinois with a trough back across the western part of Arkansas, stretching down into East Texas. That trough and the front will have to get by before we get completely out of the chances for showers and thunderstorms. Temperature is really mild across the country, and boy, that's going to change by the end of the week. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Temperatures across central Alabama generally in the 60s this morning, although a few spots, like I see Fort Payne at 57, where they're getting some rain. Showers still back into Mississippi. So until we can get that front and the upper trough past us, which will occur later this evening and into the early morning hours Monday, we won't see a complete end to the possibility of showers. Precipitation is going to remain very, very spotty. So far, I've only had 0.03 of an inch in the last 2 days, whereas some spots have had much more than that, maybe as much as an inch or an inch and a half. So it looks like rainfall amounts very, very spotty. The Storm Prediction Center not outlooking a specific area for slight risk for day one. They do have a C text over our area, and kind of like yesterday, we still have some instability, but the conditions are just not that great. So any storms like yesterday that do approach severe limits are going to be marginally severe. We did have a few trees down, and we did have a few reports of some 1-inch hail. For day two, the C-text area, once again, no slight risk area, but the C-text area is up over Illinois, Iowa, and northern Missouri. On day three, we see it primarily focused in the Iowa area, and then on day four, we drop back down into Oklahoma and North Texas. The 06Z GFS model run, and there's our surface low over Illinois with the trailing cold front down into Mississippi, and once again, it looks like, off and on showers today and maybe even a few thunderstorms. Looking at an intermediate time, this is 1 a.m. Monday, and you can see pretty much the front is getting through our area. And so we're buying into that pretty good. And instability there's some instability. We're getting values, Cape values on the order of about 750 to about 1,250 down across the southern part of Alabama. But once again, just not that much. By the time we get to midnight, you can see that the Cape value is really suppressed quite a bit. Monday in the upper atmosphere, the trough is gone by us, but we're also seeing a little bit of a troughiness over Texas with a little vorticity area in the northwest Gulf, and that is going to be responsible for the showers along that old cold front that'll be down into the Gulf of Mexico. And right now it looks like Monday could be a nice day, and Tuesday even a nicer day, with temperatures Tuesday getting up to around 80 degrees. By Wednesday, that little vorticity area that was over Texas kind of moves into the southeastern U.S. So once again, I think we introduced shower chances for our area. But the real big story is what we're seeing developing across the northern Rockies and diving into the central plains. And that system, of course, will be bringing a surface low out of Texas. And that surface or that upper air pattern will dig in on Thursday. You can see the trough just digging in nicely into eastern Kansas and eastern Oklahoma. And that low is going to close off on Friday. But in the meantime, the surface low is over the lower Mississippi River Valley, and we're in a bit of an unsettled pattern with, kind of an off and on shower situation. Real action occurs Friday, though, when we see that low close off. Now, yesterday, we were dealing with some very big model differences. Today, fortunately, the models have come closer into agreement, and actually the GFS has been a little bit closer than the European on this one. The surface pattern shows the surface low in the vicinity of St. Louis, with the front trailing down into Mississippi. And so Friday looks right now like it's probably going to be the day with the greatest chance for rain. I did mention the model differences. There's the European 500 millibar pattern. You can see the GFS was over what I would call north central Arkansas, the European over northwest Arkansas. So instead of being states apart, they're just a few tens of miles apart, and that's good. That improves the confidence. Don't believe that there's going to be much of a chance for any significant severe weather, as you can see from the stability of the Cape values for the Friday the 3rd. You can see that they basically are just non-existent for us. Now, as we get into Saturday, things become a little dicey here. The closed low is definitely closed off, and that's a cold core system. So the bottom line is, as James has pointed out many times before, cold core low, weatherman's woe. And so we're going to be watching for what's going to happen. But the bottom line is, when you look at the thicknesses, the 540 line is coming down all the way down into that cold core low down into Arkansas, and we see thickness values really dipping even over the southeastern U.S. So while we may not really push the record low quite as much as I was thinking yesterday, the bottom line is it's going to be much below where we typically are for this time of year. Now, right now, for Saturday, it looks like the rain chances are very, very limited. When we get to Sunday, that closed low is just meandering. It's kind of dumbbelling somehow or other, where it's, it's just kind of little pieces of energy are rotating around it. So the bottom line is the surface low stays in the western Ohio River Valley, and we stay with some chance of showers probably even on Saturday and then into Sunday, although I think probably the best chances are going to come Friday. Now, extending the forecast out a little bit further, that closed low and the trough, the upper trough, the cold pattern stays with us through, this is the 7th of May, so the first part of May is going to be pretty chilly. We do get under more of a ridging pattern by about the 9th, so that should warm us up somewhat and warm us up nicely, at least get us back to more typical temperatures and maybe just slightly above the typical values for that time of May. But by the time we get around the 13th, we've got another trough, and so that once again looks like not as cold as the one we're dealing with right now, but it certainly looks like a cold pattern. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann should be back with the next edition first thing Monday morning. And stay tuned to the blog for updates on both the potential for some isolated strong to potentially marginally severe storms today, as well as keep tuned to the blog for updates on this kind of winter return we're going to see in early May. Again, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.